What did we make of another Manchester United defeat in a competition they've kind of given up on now because all their eggs are in the Europa League basket, LME?
Yes, all the eggs are in the basket of the Europa League final, but really it's the same old story. It's an inconsistent, fragile, an open invitation to anybody that comes to Old Trafford to just really do anything. And I understand that there's a lot of focus on the Europa League final. We've just coming off, obviously, a European week. So there's a lot at stake for Ruben Amorim to try and help United get at least a trophy. And also, if you win it, obviously you get European competition for the next season. But that's no excuse. I mean, we're talking about a West Ham United who are still trying to find their way under Graham Potter. We've talked about this in the past. Some were even, becoming impatient with the former Brighton and Chelsea manager. And here they come to Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka, I think, had a point to make against his former club. And it was all too easy in many ways. But once again, here we are. You mentioned the numbers, 17 losses. Look where they are in the table. You know, there was a time when we would say Old Trafford was this absolute fortress. There was a time when we would say Man United can get things done, even if it's in the last minutes of a match. No longer, no more. So, I think that regardless of what happens in the Europa League final, this is going to be a season for everybody to forget and for Ruben Amorim to really wake up in the summer and say, okay, what are we doing here? Because if we want to be a top 10 team, never mind Champions League, never mind Europa League, if we want to be a top 10 team, we have to do a lot. It's too many losses for a season.
All right, Janusz, help me make this make sense for Manchester United. Europa League finalists, yet since Graham Potter took over at West Ham, only the bottom three sides have got fewer points, yet West Ham go to Old Trafford and win comfortably. It's the fixture most teams in England want right now, a game against Man United at Old Trafford. Yet if they win the Europa League final, they're playing in the Champions League next season. That doesn't make sense, does it?
No, because they don't deserve it. Don't be deceived by what you see in Europa League, right? Man United are 1,000 miles away from being a good team. They just, and it's just a bad team, and it's going to be difficult to fix them. We're going to get onto Spurs. It's a very similar situation, very similar result today. But at least with Spurs, I see some hope. I'll leave it for that. But Manchester United are just terrible, and we see this game in and game out, as you've mentioned. I mean, for a team like United to lose 9 games at Old Trafford, I mean, just unacceptable. And no matter how you slice it, I mean, you saw quite a difference in the second half when Maguire, Dorgu, Garnacho, and Eriksen came in. Those are the guys. A lot of these guys were rested because of that. But still, I've never felt that there's hope for United this season. I don't feel there's hope for United next season. However, as you've mentioned, being in the Champions League gives you at least an appearance that you're a serious team, because at the moment they're not.
Okay, LME, 2 scenarios here, and answer them both if you wouldn't mind. Manchester United's season is what if they win the Europa League? And secondary, Manchester United's season is what if they lose in the Europa League final?
If they win, it's barely passable as a season. If they lose, is a continued narrative of their horrific journey so far for the last few seasons. So, ultimately, MD, everything Janusz just said is correct. I'll echo once again what I said. I just think that this is the problem when you go to European competitions and you win a trophy or you get to a final. It kind of masquerades the overall issue. It's kind of a Band-Aid on the gunshot wound, because even though you get a trophy and it's important financially, Champions League football, I mean, unbelievable to even consider the fact that they would be playing Champions League football next season, right? But it doesn't solve the overall current problem. So if they win it, it's a passable reflection or an antidote, I guess, to their fans, because at least they will have something to celebrate. But if they lose it, woof, what a horrific, terrible season that just became even more congested. So I'm with Janusz. I mean, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what they have to do this summer, because we can talk about, players that they have to bring in, and we've talked about how they need a proper striker. But they need, here's the thing. What would Manchester United be, Andy, if it wasn't for Bruno Fernandes this season as well, by the way. Like, it would just be, I mean, we're talking a relegation contender, I think. You know, it's that bad. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. A Europa League trophy would be a great help for the fans, but so much to do. The journey is long.
And Janusz, a quick word about West Ham, because there's a lot of away fans that have been to Old Trafford over the years and been fortunate just to lose 2 or 3-0. They've been absolutely thumped. So as much as winning at Old Trafford for an away team these days doesn't appear like it's a great feat from those of us kind of outside of English football, for West Ham supporters, it's something to enjoy because they've probably been there, those that go to all the away games on many occasions and never tasted that much success. So it's still worth enjoying. The problem they've got next season, though, is they need a striker as well, with Kudus and Bowen as the kind of front two in a 3-5-2. How easy is it going to be to attract a striker if the likes of Arsenal aren't able to do so?
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about West Ham, they're probably very, very thankful for teams like Manchester United and Spurs, because otherwise we'd be paying so much attention in terms of how bad West Ham are, and we're not. They are very, very lucky because they're under the radar in terms of our critique. I mean, it'll come when we summarize the season, but think about that. Think about over the past few years how much time we spent talking about, say, Everton. And if you look at West Ham and their ambitions, I think they're bigger, right? You look at where they are, being in London, a big stadium, constantly changing the teams. We talk about how good they were last, 2, 3, or 4 seasons under David Moyes, and this unbelievable collapse, even though they got the likes of Lopetegui, who was supposed to make them play better, and now, Graham Potter. So it's been a bad season. Yes, it's always good to win against the likes of Manchester United. But is it a big deal? We just said it. Everyone goes to Old Trafford and beats Manchester United. So they are lucky. Can they get better? They have some pieces, I suppose, but I'm not convinced. That mess is there for us to analyze once we get past the bad seasons of the big clubs. That's something that West Ham want to be, but I don't know if they're anywhere near.